Hello guys, welcome to this video on quadratic equations. We're actually going to use the quadratic formula to find solutions to quadratic equations, okay? Actually, in this video, we're going to do just one example, and we're going to use the formula on the left-hand side, which is the quadratic formula, to solve a quadratic equation. Now, quadratic equations look just like the one I've written on the top right corner. Okay, these are equations which have the maximum power of x to be a square. All right. So let's see. Suppose you're given a question like someone asks you to solve this. Solve x squared plus 14 equals to 8x. Okay. So this is an example of such equations that can be solved using the quadratic formula. All right. So what do we do in this case? We just want to arrange our equation so that it looks like the one I'm having on the left-hand side there. Okay. We have to try and make our equation look like that. So x squared is already starting, so I'll just leave it right there. But then I'll have to cross my 8x to the left-hand side of the equation. So I'll have to subtract 8x because whenever a number crosses the equal sign, its sign changes. So 8x was positive on the right-hand side. Now if you bring it to the left-hand side, it becomes negative 8x. Then there was a 14. 14 was added. So it remains unchanged because it hasn't crossed the equal sign. So now that we have nothing on the right-hand side, the whole expression equals to 0. Okay, so guys, if you check well, let me show you. If you check our resulting equation here, it actually takes the form of a quadratic equation. Okay, so the next step after this is just to identify your A, B, and C. So we have to know which one is A in my equation here, like A is going to be the number which is attached to x squared, in this case a 1. B is the number which is attached to an x. In this case, mine is a negative 8 actually. So negative 8. And C is the lone number. In this case, positive 14, sorry. So 14 is my C. Once all this is done, you apply the formula to get your solutions, okay? So I'll just borrow the formula from up there. This one here, just call it down there. So this formula says x is given by, you take negative b plus or minus. Note that it's important to use brackets. Brackets will always help you avoid errors while plugging in values to your calculator. So negative b plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. So negative b will be negative of negative 8 because my b is actually negative 8. So I'll have minus 8. Then in the under the root there, we'll have b squared, that's negative 8 squared. Okay. And then a is actually 1 and c was 14. Okay. So once you've done that, it's good to solve it step by step, okay, to avoid making mistakes. So the first part here is negative 8 negative 8, which is actually positive 8. Okay, a negative times a negative brings a positive. So 8 plus or minus, I'll put my root sign and then plug in all the values I have under the root there into my calculator. Remember to use brackets. Okay, so I'll just plug in bracket negative 8. Let me show you what I'm talking about. So in my calculator, I'll just type the exact thing the way it looks. Okay, so that will be whatever I'll be seeing on the screen of my calculator. So negative 8 squared minus 4 into 1 into 14. I'll end up with an 8 under the root, all over 2, because 2 times 1 is just 2 down there. Okay, so x1, how do we get x1? x1, you use the plus sign. Okay, so x1, you'll use the plus sign in your maths. Okay, so just arrange the fraction on your calculator, but with the plus sign. This time you leave the negative sign out. Okay, you'll get your x1 to be 5.41. 5.41. x2, now this time around, you leave the positive sign out. You use the fraction with a negative sign on top there. Then you'll get your x2 to be 2.59. Note that these values have just rounded them off to the nearest 3 significant figures. Okay, so that's it, guys. That's how you solve quadratic equations using the quadratic formula. It's actually a very easy method. You need to know that in this question, we used a question which was a bit complex in arrangement, but sometimes you don't have to rearrange your equation. It will come exactly as the quadratic equation looks. Ax squared plus bx squared plus c equals to 0. But now if it doesn't come that way, what you do, you rearrange it to look in the exact same manner, just like I showed you there. Thank you, guys, and remember to subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, and you can leave comments in the comment sections below. Bye.
Audio Jungle.